San Francisco Zine Fest, Cyber Fest. Tonight is Show and Tell Group N. So happy to be here. I'm AV Jetter, one of the organizers, and I will talk about just the order of events first. We'll do the intro for Zine Fest, go over a few house rules and expectations, and then we'll go into breakout rooms for a few moments. And exhibitors will then present their work. They each have 4 minutes. Then we'll have a few questions from exhibitors and viewers, and then we'll wrap things up after that. First off, what is San Francisco Zine Fest? It was founded in 2001 as a gathering place for writers and artists from around the world, but especially the Bay Area. Typically held as a one-day event at the County Fair building in Golden Gate Park, our 2019 festival had about 240 exhibitors and over 5,000 attendees. Due to COVID-19, our 2020 festival is going 100% virtual. Again, the show and tell tonight is hosted by myself, AV Jetter, and I'm one of the volunteer organizers for San Francisco Zine Fest. And what is Cyberfest? Cyberfest is a new rendition for our virtual world. Because of COVID-19, we are doing all things online. So typically we would have Zine Fest just one day on Sunday over the Labor Day weekend. This time, since we have so much time, we have a 3-week festival which runs from September 6th this year to September 26th. So 3 weeks of online programming, exhibitor show and tell, readings, workshops, demos, interviews, just a whole host of things that we provided this year. When instead of just one guest of honor for one day's event, we had 3 guests of honor. And this year, week 1, it was Alex L. Combs. Week 2 was Death P. Sun. And this week, our guest of honor is Tana Tucker. And we are very excited to have all 3 of them provide stickers and posters. So make sure you go to our online store and pick up one of those items. And I want to just talk a little bit about our safer spaces policy. So San Francisco Zine Fest is committed to providing a harassment-free experience for everyone, regardless of gender identity, expression, sexual orientation, disability, physical appearance, body size, race, or religion. We will not tolerate harassment at SF Zine Fest events in any form. Individuals violating the Safer Spaces policy may be sanctioned or expelled from the space or the event at the discretion of any SF Zine Fest organizer. And please respect people's opinions, beliefs, different states of being, and different points of view. Always get explicit verbal consent before taking someone's photo, screen captioning included, or crossing other personal boundaries. Be responsible for your actions and aware that they may have an effect on others regardless of your original intent. A safe and a respectful community is everyone's responsibility. So a few guidelines for Zoom. Please keep your video off unless you're presenting. Also, the host or guest of honor, ASL interpreters, you can keep their videos on. Keep yourself on mute unless you're presenting. If you have a question, ask in the chat. There will be moderators on Zoom. There will be moderators on Facebook as well as YouTube who will help you. ASL interpretation is not provided tonight, but we do have captioning for you. Above all, please be respectful. Again, our artists or exhibitors will have 4 minutes to share their work. You can use this time however you like. Compliment each other in the chat, or just say hi if you like. Be mindful for folks who are blind or visually impaired. Be descriptive when you're sharing your work. And this Zoom session is being recorded and broadcast to Facebook and YouTube. So please, if you don't want to be on those platforms, you can keep your video off. Tonight we will have a breakout room. You'll be asked to join a breakout room. It basically works as a private room or group setting. This way you can quickly introduce yourselves, You have 3 minutes before we bring you back into the main room. And tonight's suggested breakout room, of course, you can talk about whatever you like. The suggested prompt is, what was your first San Francisco Zine Fest as an attendee or an exhibitor? If you want to talk amongst each other about your first time at San Francisco Zine Fest. And we should be going to breakout rooms now. I will stop sharing and I'll show you while they're in the breakout room. I will show you one of my favorite books by Keith Haring. Just a few of my favorite pictures from the book. I'm a huge Keith Haring fan. I hope you can see his artwork. I picked this up at the Keith Haring retrospective a couple of years ago in San Francisco. Just more of his brilliant patterning, line work. My first time to New York in 1986, 1987. You can still see his work on buildings and subway cars. If you want to, I hope everyone can see that. If you want to talk amongst yourselves on YouTube or on Facebook and leave in the comments, who's your favorite artist and why? And did you ever get a chance to see their work in person or in a museum? I wish I had it with me. I don't have it with me now. I went to see Basquiat. He's another favorite American artist. And I got to see his retrospective in New York as well. See if I can find some more awesome pictures. So yeah, if you're not familiar with, let me see, if you're not familiar with Keith Haring, do a quick Google search. He's one of our treasures, American artists. Go and find more work by Keith Haring, who's another favorite American artist of mine. I'm also a huge Charles White fan, very, very famous muralist, as well as John Biggers. Google these people. These are our American treasures. Again, Keith Haring, The Political Line. See if you can check it out. Grab his book. Hopefully they'll be coming out of the rooms. Should be all coming back out of the rooms now. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
So is everybody back from, I'm gonna stop sharing. Is everybody back from the breakout room?
Yes.
Awesome. Yes. So I'll go back to sharing my screen. And just go over really quickly what you should say when you're presenting. Make sure to tell us your pronouns. If you're based in the Bay Area, where are you now? tell us a little bit more about yourself. Um, Show us your work. You can even read from your zines. And so, first up, we have Erika Rier. Are you available to share your work?
Yes.
I'm gonna stop sharing so you can share your work, or you be live on the screen.
I am. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. I'm Erika Rier. My pronouns are she, her. I'm based in Portland, Oregon, and I've lived all over the country. So not the Bay Area, but I'm from Maine originally, and I've lived in New York City and Arizona, and now I'm in Portland for a bit. I'm an interdisciplinary artist. So I create paintings, works on paper. Behind me are like a bunch of life-size paper dolls that I've made. I'm also a ceramicist and a zine-stir. I've been making zines since I was 13. So that was like the early 90s. So I've been making zines for over 30 years exactly now. As a result, my zines have been getting increasingly complicated as I've gotten older. I like the control I have over the zine making process, and just being able to kind of create whatever I want to create in a new format. So I'm going to share a few of my zines really quickly. This is one of my newer ones. It's called Pageants. It's definitely one of the most complicated zines I've made yet. It's risograph printed, and it has a lot of fold out pages. So the whole zine folds out as you go through it. And there are these pages that are cut like houses. There are no words. It's kind of like a wordless story that you work your way through. It's very hard to show my work on a screen because it's so big. And so this piece was, this whole book I did as part of a show that I did last year. And it kind of basically follows the idea of like a Roman triumph pageants. They used to have these incredibly gory pageants to celebrate a military victory. So I don't know, it was kind of based on that idea. But I like this idea of fold out zines. So I do a lot of big zines that are, this one's just an accordion. This is my newest. I just finished this a few weeks ago. It's actually a coloring zine. It's called Creepy Critters. It's very long, very complicated, but it's cool. You can have like a lot of people coloring it at a time, which is kind of the fun part of it. And it follows this woman's adventure through some very creepy critters. So yeah, that's kind of what I do. I do complicated folded zines. This is another one. But most of them don't have words. They're mostly just visual stories. This one's like a circular story. So the story starts and ends on the cover and just keeps going around and around and around. So yeah, that's me.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
And next up, we have Jenell the Cid and the Soft Apocalypse. Are you available? Nice. There you go.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Jenell Del Cid, and this is
Jacob Palmer,
aka Soft Apocalypse. The zine I'm going to be showing is my photo book. It's called Jenell Del Cid, The Fool's Journey, and it documents a window installation I did for ATA. Inside the zine are different pictures of the window. Inside the window, I dressed up as different entities that I envisioned, and they gave out tarot readings, and there was like some subliminal messaging in the windows. I dressed up as everything from a bird to kind of like different spirits. And then inside the zine, I also added some collages. The one I'm showing right now is in black and white, but there are colored collages in there. a lot of those collages are from some self-portraits I've done. And that's amazing.
Yeah, and so my name's Jacob Palmer. He, him.
And I'm she and her.
So I wrote a novel about a year and a half where Jenell is the star of the novel. Her characters that she creates and her characters that she creates for the window, basically I integrated into the novel. So like the novel, it's tied in with her zine and all that. And I've primarily made the novel available online because I just want it freely available just for people to read it. So I haven't even decided if I'm going to actually print an actual like paper zine. I might just have it available as like online. And I've been recording the chapters as like a podcast also. So yeah, that's kind of and I can show the cover of mine in the or maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. It's fine.
Aw, sorry.
But so yeah, that's but my book's called The Soft Apocalypse. So and yeah, this is our 3rd year doing Zine Fest. So really stoked. But
I guess I can show a few more pages too, while we have a little bit more time.
You do have time.
Oh, yay, nice. So I have this, I'm showing a page right now of one of the looks I did inside of the window, and it's kind of like a shadow jester. And then you can see all the different tarot cards on the floor, and inside the photo book, I'm gonna put a little bit closer, you can see me interacting with people who came by the window and got their cards read. It was a really magical experience.
and this was all last December.
This was
The
last
whole month of December.
Yeah, it was for one whole month at the ATA window. And then inside the zine, there's also just little stories about things that happened in my childhood or ways that I feel, and some collages that I've made on my phone. I kind of do like everything on my phone. And if you want to check out more stuff or check out my zine or my other art or my looks, my website is jenelldelcid.com.
And my website's just Jacob Daniel Palmer, all one word. And yeah, it's free to read online. I'm just putting up a few chapters at a time, but I may just put a bunch of chapters up all of a sudden. So yeah.
Thank you so much. And what's your podcast name?
So it's going to be called The Soft Apocalypse. I have them recorded, but I've just been sharing them with friends. So now that this is out, then I'll put them up like legit for people to see. So
awesome.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you. Take care.
So next up, we have Late Comeback Press. Late Comeback Press.
Hi, can you see me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I'm Rakna. I'm one half of Late Comeback. And then my other half is Caroline. But we are based in Northern Virginia, and we've never been to the Bay, or at least I've never been to the Bay Area. And we make comics and zines. Caroline, is there anything you want to say?
I do have some of our zines next to us, or next to me, I guess, since we're not in the same room. Rakna and I both, our pronouns are she, her. Our zines are fairly unconventional. We've been trying to stray away or kind of move away from making books and move into some more interesting territory, I guess. So here are some of our zines from last year. This is Rakna's Phases. It's just a collection of diary comics. It's they're all 4 panels. Most of them don't have words. I made one called Cryptic Language last year, which has Morse code in it, and then all the holes are punched out. and we did a collaboration with our friend Cam Del Rosario, who's out of Louisville, Kentucky. Oh, sorry. And they're just he does mainly comics and more of the just kind of line drawings. But our newest, which came out this summer, is called Shutter. It comes in 2 versions, and if you purchase them, it's kind of a mystery box. So we ended up buying these cameras on Amazon, and they're toy cameras, but we've spray painted them black and replaced the reels in them, and so it's a zine in a camera. And because it's a mystery box, you don't know which version you'll get. But yeah, it just works by looking through the hole and then clicking through it. It's an 8-panel zine, not including the cover page, or I guess the title page. And Ragna, if you have nothing else to add, that's all I got.
Yeah, I have nothing else. I think that's pretty much it.
Well, thank you so much. That's amazing. So next up is Naoshi, Himi Kozue, and Aki Miyajima. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Are you available? Doesn't look like they are. Are they here? So I will go ahead and present for them. I'll go ahead and share my screen. So Naoshi, Himi Kozue, and Aki Miyajima, they're a small group of artists and illustrators. They sell individualistic style zines, which are made by Japanese artists. Naoshi is creating unique look and fine zines every year. One of her books, Ice Cream Work, includes how to make sand art. Himi Kozue draws illustrations by hand with a pencil. She is publishing full of presents and how to draw a cat this year. She has a lot of zines with sensitive and beautiful illustrations. Aki Miyajima draws women's illustrations, and she also is a cat person, and she's making new cat and illustration zines. They're from Los Angeles, and you can find them on Etsy by Shop Naoshi, on Instagram, Naoshi Sone, and their website, naoshi.com. naoshi.kojp/zine/zine2.html. And that's Naoshi, Himi Kozue, Aki Miyajima. So next up, we are looking for Peach Farm Studio. Are you available to share your work?
Oops, I'm trying to start my video.
Okie dokie.
It's not, it says the host, you can't start your video because the host has stopped it.
I am asking, I'm clicking the button to ask to start the video.
Let's see, start my video. There. Hi, do you see me now?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Hi, everybody. I'm CK Tamura, and my studio name is Peach Farm Studio. My studio is not on a peach farm, however, so I just want to clear that up from the beginning. My grandparents used to be peach farmers before World War II when they got put in Japanese internment camps. So I named my studio Peach Farm Studio as an ode to my grandparents. So that's where the name comes from. Just want to show you a piece that I've been working on since 2018. So back in about 2018, there was this thing happening in the news that you probably heard about. And it was the Brett Kavanaugh hearings. He was being considered for one of the Supreme Court justice slots that was available. And there was a lot of Senate hearings and going on at the time. And so there was a lot about the Supreme Court in the news. And deja vu, Supreme Court's back in the news again. So at that time, I had started as part of a collage project called the Roundtable Collaboration Project. And it's a project by an artist named Marty McCutcheon, and he's in Berkeley. And what he does is he amasses people from all over the world who want to participate. And then he puts everybody into a team of 5 people. And that's your collage team. So my collage team consists of people all across the country and one in Canada. And what we all had to do was start a collage and out of anything, and then mail it to one person, and then mail it to the next person, and then mail it to the next person, and then it finally comes back to me. And everybody's doing that. So mine began with a picture of Ruth Bader Ginsburg that I cut out from a magazine at the time. And by the time I got it back, it had all kinds of 3-dimensional elements added to it. And so what I ended up doing was I took this box of 3-dimensional elements over to FedEx and sat there at a photocopy machine for about 3 hours, because I kind of consider that FedEx is kind of like doing a public service, that they let artists hang out in their shop using their photocopy machines for pretty much as long as you want to, as long as you're paying for your photocopies. So what I did by taking all the elements that were in that box that I just showed you, and I would rearrange them on the glass at FedEx. And in addition to the 3-dimensional elements, I cut out a whole bunch of, I searched the web. I found some Ruth Bader Ginsburg quotes, and this was back in 2018. Found some Ruth Bader Ginsburg quotes and printed them out. And then I put those on the glass too. And I rearranged different quotes and 3-dimensional objects 28 times and made 28 different collages. So then what I did with that, I printed them on cardstock, and then I put them in this container. So this is one of those take one containers that you see that real estate agents use when they are trying to sell a house and they stick one out in front of the house on a post. So you take a little flyer out. Well, I'm using them to make it so that people can take, sorry about the noise, a Ruth Bader Ginsburg quote out for free and take it home with them. So this was posted, and several others were posted around different places, in public places for people to take. And then I would go and refill the box periodically. Flash forward to 2020 in the spring when the pandemic first started. Up until that time, I had been working on larger pieces that were more public. But I decided during the pandemic that I was going to kind of hunker down and stay at home and stay in my studio. Pretty much that's all I've been doing for the past 6 months. So what I did in the early part of the spring is I took that project and I condensed it down and made zines out of the 28 posters that are in that. So the 28 posters got consolidated into a set of 4 zines, and each of the zines is a single page folded 1-page zine that's folded into 8 pages, and each one of them has 7 of the posters that were originally in the installation that I had done. So and then I cut this little hand cut slip cover, to slip them into. And I gave a talk at San Francisco Center for the Book. They asked me to do a studio tour last Thursday, at which I featured this piece. And then the next day we got the news that Ruth Bader Ginsburg had died. So it's kind of a haunting moment. But that's what I've been working on. And just to close, I want to say really quickly, just a little to Justice Ruth, to RBG, to Ruth, rest in peace, superhero, rest in peace. Rest in peace, and thank you for all you have done, for all the selfless work you have done on behalf of everyone, for your belief in justice for all of us, every one of us, for all. And that's it.
Thank
you for
you.
having me.
That was lovely. Thank you so much. So next up, we have Philomena the Plant. Are you available, Philomena?
I am available. Hello.
Hi.
It is Philomena, but either way,
Thank
really
you. Thank you for correcting me.
Oh, you know what? It doesn't even matter that much. I might even change it. I'm Philomena the Plant. You can say she or her at me. I'm a comic artist more than anything else. Though recently I've been getting really into just turning my comics into stickers because I'm kind of excited at the idea of just kind of seeing them out on the street instead of on people's shelves. Because you know what happens to zines when people buy them, of course, is they end up on a shelf. I'm in Philadelphia. I've actually never done this Zine Fest before, which is exciting. And I don't know when I ever will. We'll see how fires and viruses go in the future. But yeah, so basically I tend to write about my life as an anarchist plant. A lot of the zines are just sort of like daily life, but a lot of them are how-tos. For instance, a lot of people don't know that it's pretty easy to reprogram those digital highway signs and make them say whatever you want. Pretty much anyone can do it. The information's out there. And I write all about that. Oh, and another good example is like I just, as of recently, finished this larger, I think maybe the largest zine I've ever worked on is Revenge for George Floyd. It comes in 3 parts. And it's pretty local. It just kind of documents how the, basically what the riots looked like in Philadelphia specifically, how they began, how they ended, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else I would want to say about this stuff. It kind of is what it is. You can find me on Instagram. I try really hard to not deal with money. I print for free. You can just kind of buy a printer on Amazon, use all the ink and then return it. It's not a big deal. So my zines are also free unless you want to donate. But if you want free zines, I'll send you a bunch of them because it's no skin off my back. That includes stickers too, a bunch of them. I also stole a bunch of sticker paper from Staples. So really, nobody worry about it. I think that's about it.
Oh,
yeah.
goodness. So your free game is on point.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's hilarious.
Of course.
You're awesome. All right, next up we have PG and the Lion. Jared, are you here in the house?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Hello. Penguin plus lion.
Thank you.
Yeah, meant to be cryptic because it doesn't make sense without the plus lion, but it is like a play on architectural and engineering firms because they may make these kind of funny names. So my zines, are about like all my random drawings that I do because I kind of make STEM related things. I'm from the East Bay and I went to Zine Fest, tabled for the first time last year, and I'm glad there's a digital one this year. But mostly I made this zine as my first one to talk about STEM when I was stressed out and studying for an exam. It was Ink-tember, and I just started drawing every day, trying to practice some like problems for civil engineering. Basically, I wanted to kind of show how it's accessible, meaning that I feel like it's usually intimidating when people talk about engineering or like STEM in general, and it is, but I thought I'd have some fun with it. So here's like a a drawing of like a watering can with some equations, some typical construction stuff. This one is a diagram about steel and the failure of steel, and it's called stress. Then I made a follow-up zine the next year called A Notebook of More Engineering Scribbles. Here's some just random things going on in here. A drawing of like a plant and the dimensions of the pot of the plant. And then the next thing I'm trying to work on is a zine about building a doghouse. Basically, the idea is I have a bunch of drawings and I kind of constructed a doghouse for my dog over the winter this past year. It's called Doghouse Mark 1. And it has a bunch of dimensions and stuff. And I kind of want to explain what is going on here for people who want to like follow the random things that I'm drawing. This is called a framing plan. It's a typical thing. I draw these at work where you kind of like do the top view of the doghouse, hence plan. And then this is like the hanger portion. And I have some pictures of like the hanger here. There's my dog. Here's the framing plan. And then the walls that go after the framing plan. And the finished doghouse, which is typical of residential construction. And that's all I wanted.
Cool. Very cool.
Thank you.
Thank you so
thanks
much.
for having me.
All righty. Next up, we have, please correct me if I'm saying it wrong. Tanaya, are you here tonight? Is it Tanaya or Tanaya?
I don't think that they're here tonight.
Okie dokie. So I will share my screen again and talk a little bit more about them. I hope I'm saying it right. Tanaya or Tanya Joshi is an illustrator at heart who disguises as a product designer by day. These days, you'll find her watching Bollywood movies and rom-coms, taking long nap with her cat, and drawing, cooking, or engaging in passionate conversations. Much like the artist, Tanya's work is a work in progress. She hopes to give you a glimpse into her life and deliver smiles and aha moments. And you can find her at tanayajoshi.com/shop. And her Venmo is at Tanaya_Joshi. And she's from San Francisco. Next up is, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name as well. Oh, sorry. The Survival Project. Are you here? Survival Project.
Yes.
Hello. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Let me share my screen. Okay. Hi, I'm Brian Wu. We're a survival project. I am from San Francisco, but I am currently in Oahu.
I'm Rainia Ho, also member of Survival Project. I'm calling from Beijing.
Hi, I'm T. Tran, and I'm also in Oahu on the leeward side.
So we're a survival project, and we do multisensory art that examines techniques for survival during extreme situations and times. We do our work based on historical and archival research, And just want to share some of our work. One of our projects, which we showed at the last Zine Fest, was on famine. And this was a set of instruction manuals, as well as a famine tasting kit, which had ingredients and recipes for things such as sawdust and leather, things you would actually have to eat if you needed to. Our latest project is Journey, and this one looks into the life and death choices refugees make as they flee from crises in their homelands.
Yeah, so the zine that we made is part of a larger installation, but it also can be a standalone object on its own. As you can see, one part of the installation is set up like a kitchen table. The table itself has, we can go to the next, oh yeah, the table itself has map symbols and paths sort of burned and etched onto the table so it's not smooth. The experience is like pretty tactile, and you can trace the path with your finger. You can see the zines there. On the next slide, this is a picture of how the zine comes. It comes in a Ziploc bag, and the bag is basically a reference to how you would protect your valuable documents if you were going on a journey across the ocean or the desert.
T?
Yeah, sorry. You can see that we were working with different layering techniques and just really experimenting with how to physically map the stories. There were 3 different communities we were focused on with most of our research. Was the Rohingya in Myanmar, the Syrians crossing the Mediterranean, and Central Americans who were traveling north by foot and train through Mexico. There are definitely unique stories. Each story was different, but we couldn't help but notice commonality of situations. And so what unfolded from all of that was these universals journey, which is what we were trying to show through our art. It was really important to us to separate out the solid base layer from the translucent vellum layers, which had the individual stories on them, just to highlight the important point for us that the natural world lies far beneath human structures and the political divisions that forced all these people to leave their homes. It's still a work in progress. We're still figuring out different forms, different ways of getting the message out, as you can see. And so that's a little bit about our most recent project. And if you'd like to learn more about our collective or our work, please visit our website, survivalproject.net.
Thank you.
So amazing.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Wow, that is so awesome. And we need you now to help us survive. Next up is, I'm sorry if I mispronounce it, Yeiry Guevara. Are you available?
Yes. Here.
Awesome.
Great.
Tell me
Hi.
how do you pronounce your first name?
Yeiry, like lady.
I totally screwed that. Sorry.
It's okay. It's not phonetic, so that's why it's okay. So hi, I am Yeiry Guevara. Pronouns are she and they. I am from Houston, Texas. I spent a lot of years in New York as well. And I am a writer, a multimedia artist, and an arts administrator here in Houston. So I make zines, and I started making them in 2017. I actually didn't know I was making a zine when I made it. I was actually traveling to El Salvador, and my uncle wanted to read my writing. And I was like, oh, to my website. And he's like, but I don't have a computer. I'm in the countryside. So put it on paper, and the rest is kind of history. And so that first piece that came out, my inadvertent zine, was called The Savior. And The Savior is El Salvador translated in English. And it is almost like postcards and bite-sized like bilingual poetry, because I make all my work so my family can read it. So it's images that I've taken on my trips, and in both Spanish and English messages. And so the second zine that I put out is called Vocipota, which translate into hey girl, or like voice of a young girl. It's very colloquial in Spanish. And this one has a longer narrative in terms of visual and content wise. It's a longer poetry. and also full bleed images that just also go in par with the longer narrative. And it's also a really cute picture of me as a kid, so with my grandparents. So this is Wasipota. It's available separately in Spanish and English. And then my most recent one that I put out a couple months ago is called VHS Sueños. So because I'm a multimedia artist, I'm working in the new realm of archiving and film and video. And I wanted to somehow still have that textual experience of video, but in zine format, which I really love and enjoy. So this one has taken a different approach where first I create an essay, and then I go into screen grabs of the images that coincide with thematics of that personal essay. So again, Houston in 1997 and whatnot, that narrative. So a lot of my zines obviously are bilingual because I write a lot from the Central American diaspora. I write, what does it mean to have this transnational identity? And, you know, growing up with like, from neither here nor there. So I also make little tiny zines for levity. So my first one was called Growing Up Salvador. And this one is basically a series of tweets because Central American Twitter was a really big deal and it still is. And they're just tweets that I illustrated and, you know, they're really bite-sized versions of what has shared. And just, you know, to kind of balance everything out, I've also done a Philly dog. So I know all the dogs personally. So if you want a story about the dogs, that's perfectly great. So it's just dogs going through like existential dread, as we all are nowadays. So, so that is my work. I am available on my website. It's yeiry.com. So my first name.com. I have my online shop. I have the craft line that I run with my mom as well, because she makes a lot of great things. So we collaborate and we, it's all available on the internet. So yeiry.com. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. I want to see your mom's stuff too. Thank you so much. And so next we have, and again, make sure that I'm pronouncing this correctly. Gosh, I think that's it for everyone. Has everybody presented that wanted to present? I think we have gone. Everyone has gone that wanted to go. So I will share my screen again. And let's see. So just the upcoming Cyberfest events. I hope you'll join us tomorrow for Thinking Captions with Tana Tucker and her invited guest from 6 to 7:30. And then on Friday, September 25th, we have Show and Tell Group O from 6 to 7. And then Saturday, our final day, there's a drawing and zine making, family-friendly drawing and zine making hangout from 1 to 2 p.m. And then log off, just a social gathering from 2 to 3:30, where everybody can kind of chill and recap this whole 3-week extravaganza. And like again, Thinking Captions on Thursday will be with Tana Tucker, her invited guest Minnie Fan, Richie Pope, and Soleil Summer. Please make sure to go to our online store, grab up Tana Tucker's poster, her stickers, all the other guest of honors merch. And thank you so much to all our volunteers for captioning on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you guys so much for sharing your work with us tonight. Everyone is so amazing, so creative. And do we have any questions from people on Facebook, or do we have questions from YouTube? Or anyone have questions here? Any of the exhibitors have questions that they want to ask other exhibitors? This would be a great time to ask those questions. No questions? Thank you guys. You're amazing.